Research is showing if you compare people who only sleep 4 hours a night to people who sleep 7.5 hours a night, the health implications are tremendous. People who are sleep deprived have a much greater chance of getting cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, type 2 diabetes. When you're sleep deprived, you become insulin resistant, meaning that your body, your cells are not responding to insulin. You have a much harder time controlling blood sugar. I recently had a coaching client I was working with who on paper, it looked like they were doing everything perfect. They were working out with me twice a week. They were eating well, but then all of a sudden, after a couple of months, they stopped losing weight. Then my client revealed to me, he was a lawyer, like a 51-year-old lawyer, that he had a lot going on at work. He had a big case coming up, and he just was not sleeping. He was averaging about 3 hours of sleep per night. So we had a serious talk, and I wanted him to do a number of things to prioritize his sleep. And these are the things I had him do. Number one, I wanted him to stop drinking alcohol in the evening. He was under a lot of stress with this case, and he found himself having a couple of cocktails after dinner. See, when you drink, you pretty much pass out in the evening and then you wake up. Alcohol fragments your sleep. So I told him, if you can stop drinking, incredible. But if you have to have a drink, have it early in the evening. So he would have like one drink right before dinner. That made a big difference. Number two, I wanted him to focus on his circadian rhythm, his 24-hour internal clock, your dark and light cycle. He was getting very little time outside because he was working so hard. So what I want him to do is first thing in the morning, I want him to go outside, drink his coffee outside on his deck, at least for 10 minutes. The more sunlight you get during the day, the better you would sleep at night. And I also recommended that if he had time to get outside of the office during lunch and just go for a nice walk. Now, the third thing I want him to do, which is somewhat obvious, is no caffeine after 2 in the afternoon. The fourth thing I want him to do is to start dimming the lights in the evening right after dinner. So right around 7:30, reduce the lights in half. It's going to minimize the blue lights. And he even invested in a pair of those like blue blocking glasses, which also really helps. Now, the fifth thing I want him to do is to make this a hard rule. No eating any food, any snacks 3 hours before bed. This was also challenging for him. I told him you can have herbal teas, no calorie liquids, but you don't want food keeping you up at night digesting food. Plus, when you eat late at night, it's really hard for the body to control blood sugar. It also leads to acid reflux. Now, the sixth thing I want him to do is to really minimize his computer, phone, and TV time, at least a couple hours before bed. He used to find himself doing work late at night. I said, you really can't do that. Number 7, I want him to completely black out his bedroom. Get blackout curtains, remove the clock out of the bedroom. You don't want the light from the clock. Plus, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you don't want to get anxious looking at what time it is. Now, the final thing I wanted him to do is to use a 4-7-8 breathing technique if he wakes up in the middle of the night. This is going to help you go right back to sleep, and this is how you do it. You take your tongue, you put it on the roof of your mouth. You breathe in 4 seconds through your nose. You hold that breath for 7 seconds, and then you slowly breathe out for 8 seconds. You do this 5 or 6 times. Most people fall right back to sleep. He started incorporating these things into his life. It took about 2 or 3 months, plus things settled down for him at work. He started sleeping well again, and he started losing weight again. Now, if you're having a hard time getting good quality sleep, give these techniques a try. They're really effective.